Hey guys, this is Statton. Welcome to another Heart to Heart with Statton. Today I'm very excited because this is my very first video I'm recording using my new laptop because my old one just wasn't handling OBS very well. It did stop the skipping issue from my PS4 was doing, if you remember the videos from a while back. But then there came that audio crackling and the sound cutting out. Well, it seems like this laptop isn't doing it, so I'm excited. So now let's get this video going. Okay, so today's video is just going to be me talking about 3 short video game experiences that I hadn't recorded. And I wish I had because they are somewhat comedic. But anyways, the first one has to do with my first time I ever legitimately acted mischievous. And in a not in a malicious way, but you'll see what I mean. If you remember my previous videos, you'll notice that I gamed with a couple called ArcEagle32 and Beauty Gamer. Well, we were playing World War Z around this time, and this was before I started recording the actual gameplay. We dropped into the map, and World War Z is a zombie shooter game, in case some of you haven't played the game or seen it. And there's no zombies when you drop in at first. You gotta progress a little ways, but you have guns and ammo you can gather together. As soon as the map started, Beauty said she had to go and use the restroom, so her character was AFK. So after pacing back and forth with my character for a little bit, I just decided to mess with Ark. So every now and then I would shoot him, and I would pretend it was an accident. And pretty much like if you've seen my Left 4 Dead videos, he was pretty much the World War Z version of Francis to me. And Ark, if you don't get that reference, watch my Left 4 Dead videos. You'll understand really fast what I mean. Anyways, after like shooting him for the umpteenth time, I've decided, well, he pretty much has figured out by now it's not an accident, so it's time to go all out. So I just open fire on him, and he's like running all over the place. But he doesn't take it sitting down either. He shoots back at me. So we're like literally, while Beauty is AFK, shooting at each other, wasting all the ammo that we have collected at the very beginning of the game, to the point where by the time we're done, we have no bullets left, no ammunition of any kind, and our health is down to almost 0, which makes me question if we can actually kill other players or not, because it seemed like we really were shooting at each other for quite some time, and none of us reached death just yet. So we can do damage to each other, but rather if you can kill another player on this game, that's a mystery to me still. Anyways, all we have left are our health packs. Now you can only carry 1 health pack at a time. So Ark uses his, and if your health is near 0, 1 health pack isn't going to heal you completely. So an idea struck me. I decided to let him have my health pack so he can recover the rest of the way. At first he's like, no man, you need it. And I'm like, no. Think of this as my way of apologizing for being such a, troublemaker. Anyways, he's like, okay, thanks man. So he takes it and he heals himself. Not but 30 seconds later, the icing on the cake happens. Beauty returns, and I quickly run. My character runs up behind her and hides, and I'm just like, Beauty, your boyfriend's insane. He just opened fire on me. He started shooting me. Look at how little my health is, and look how we have no ammo left. And Ark's like, oh, I see how it is. So You gave me your health pack not out of the goodness of your heart, but just so you would cover your own backside. And Beauty's like, what am I gonna do with you two troublemakers? I'm like, me? I didn't do anything. He's like, oh, she's like, oh, I think there were two people involved in this. So, but to be honest with you, that's the first time I was ever daring enough to. Maybe I didn't reach troll-like levels. I don't know, but I was definitely stepping outside the box for myself. I would like to kind of start making troll videos, but I also want to make kind of balanced troll videos where I'm just not being obnoxious. I want to find that line to stand on where you can be somewhat of a troublemaker, but do it in a way that actually makes people legitimately laugh. And as far as Ark goes, from judging from his reactions, I'd say he actually found it hilarious and he joined in. He wasn't all irritable about the whole thing. He was a very good sport about it. Now the next video actually has to do with the game of life, which I have like 2 videos of on YouTube now. We have the computer game version of this board game. Well, the first one I played with my nieces and nephews, and my oldest niece's fiance was a part of it too. And the second video is with Lil. But there was one video, that was the second video or the second time I played with Lil on it, because she got it recently. The first time she and I gamed together, I wasn't able to record it. I just wasn't set up for it, but I wish I had, because she and I both agree that the first time we played was the better gameplay, because the second one was just, it was too quick and not a lot of things happened in it. But the thing about the game of life is it plays just like the board game, but there are cutscenes depending on what scenes you land on, as you've probably seen if you've seen the 2 videos or have played the game on Steam or whatnot. But if you have a baby, if you land on a space where you have a baby near the hospital, it shows the married couple walking into the hospital, and not but 5 seconds later they walk out carrying a baby. But if you land on a space where you gain a baby, but you're too far from the hospital, it shows a helicopter flying and then hovering over the car, and then it just drops the baby right into the vehicle. And Lil kept landing on our first game that we played with each other on the baby spaces. She was having one kid after another. In fact, we got to the point where she's like, I don't think they can all fit in this vehicle. It's like, then what do you know? She drops on another one. She gets twins. She's like, why am I having all these kids? And she's like, I have a hard enough time with the 2 I have now in real life, and I'm getting like, what, 6, 8 kids? Anyways, but there were also other things in this game, like it's like, I wonder what the game makers were thinking when they made this game, because when you start off right off the bat, you have to choose between starting out with a career or going to college. Lil chose career, I chose college. People are always saying, you gotta go to college, you gotta go to college if you want a life. It just seemed like, financially speaking, as far as money goes, she was booming more than me throughout the majority of the game. It's like, I even had a good job as a result of college. It's like, but I've got so much debt that I was gathering. It's like, she was successful in her job. She didn't even go to college. So what's this game trying to say? That you shouldn't go to college? That college is a scam? It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really believe that. I do believe there are some things you do actually need to go to college and go to school for. In fact, despite the fact that I haven't gone yet, I would like to go to college someday, because there are goals I have that require me to go to school to accomplish. And you know what they say, it's never too late. Unless I'm old and trapped in a nursing home, but if that were the case, I don't think I'd be able to handle the new laptop I have. You know how old people are with technology at times. Okay, now that's just stereotyping, and I'm getting off subject. Anyways, By the time we reach the end of the game, all of a sudden it's tallying up how much we already have. Then it takes away a certain amount depending on what our loans are. And then it takes all the cards we've collected. But then the funny part is where it looks like our kids are walking away from us and it's just being replaced by money. And Lil's like, what the heck is happening here? Are we actually selling our kids? Is that why we chose to have kids to begin with? Is to sell them for money? It's like every little thing. She was able to make a comedic joke out of it. You see, with games like Life, and there's also 2 other games I plan on posting on YouTube. 2 Super Nintendo games. Wheel of Fortune and Family Feud. Now, these games, they're not the most entertaining videos if you're playing single player, but from experience, when you play multiplayer and you just hear people's commentary over the things that are happening in those games, that really ups the entertainment. That really is what makes these games fun, hilarious even. And for that reason, I would like to post these videos on YouTube, but I don't want to play by myself. I actually want to see if I can get anyone else who wants the game with me to play them. Unfortunately, the 2 Super Nintendo games, they're not online, so it would have to be either my sister or my nieces and nephews if they want to do it. I'm not going to pressure them. I'm just saying, if I do upload these videos or make these videos and upload them, I'm going to try my best to make them as entertaining as possible. Anyways, now this takes me to the 3rd and final story. My most embarrassing video game moment. Now, for this part to make sense, I have to go over a few things. One, I've grown up on video games as a kid, like a lot of kids have. I've had the original NES, which broke down, and then we got it replaced with the Super Nintendo. And then after that, over years, got the N64, the GameCube, and the Wii. I got the little NES box thing that they started to sell about a few years ago. That has some of the games on its hard drive. Looks just like the original NES, but smaller. I think all of you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I this all of those. I haven't given a single one of those consoles up. I also got the Switch now as a birthday gift this year from my niece and nephew, and I'm to this very day I'm still grateful for that. They do a lot for me. But anyways, my parents, they were never really into video games. This was largely due to the fact that back in the days that they got the consoles for us for the first time, this was the old side-scrolling Mario days, and to them, the whole floating platforms and doubling in size when you eat a mushroom or getting fireballs for eating a flower just didn't make logical sense to them. They didn't understand that it wasn't supposed to be logical. It's just supposed to be a fun video game. But they just couldn't get past all that. However, about a few years ago, I got the PS4 for the first time. First time I ever gone away from the Nintendo thing. My friend Alderon, who has a YouTube channel also, was the one that recommended that I should get one, so I gave it a shot. One of the games I bought was a game called Heavy Rain. Now, I will admit, that game is not old, but it's to the point where there are games with even better graphics than that game, but the graphics on it still blew me away. It was new to me. I wasn't used to seeing things look that real, that open, and it blew me away. I wanted to show my parents that when they came and visited one night. So I was like, here, I want to show you the beginning of this because I want you to see how far video games have come from the last time you two have seen it. It blew them away too. They got into it. In fact, when I was about to, every single time I was about to shut the console down, they would say, well, continue on a little more. We want to see where this is going. So we did, and after so long, they admitted they wanted me to see it through to the end with them because they wanted to know the mystery. They wanted to know who kidnapped Sean and would Sean come out of it alive. They said it was like watching a TV show. They wanted to know how it would end. It's like, are you guys sure? They said yes. This was a new turn. The PS4 offers a set of video games that my parents would find entertaining just by watching, and that was incredible. So we started. Now, for those of you that have never played Heavy Rain can, depending on the choices you make, be an adult-rated game. Now, I have a playthrough of, or I don't know if you'd call it a playthrough if you haven't explored every nook and cranny. I forget how that goes, but I do have a playlist of me playing the game from beginning to end on my channel. And I've made it so through the choices I made that the game is innocent enough to where I don't think you would have to really worry about your younger kids watching it. That's what I try to do, to keep things appropriate. But when I was playing with my parents, that was the first time I was ever playing the game all the way through. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And that leads me to the embarrassing moment. Got to the part where this girl that Ethan, the dad, the main character, has been hanging around with, I think her name is Madison. You can tell there's some chemistry built up and between them. And while she's patching up his wounds in this hotel, she leans in to kiss him close to the end of the game story. And I figured, you know what, it's just a kiss, no biggie. Bear in mind, my parents are still watching this in the living room with me as I'm playing it. As they lean in and they kiss each other, the next thing I know, their clothes are being removed from them, and they are sitting on the bed, and they're starting to get intimate with each other. The awkwardness begun. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna turn away and shut my eyes, and I was like, guys, just seriously, I'm sorry, I didn't know this was there. Just let me know when this is over, and then I'll move on. About 10 seconds of silence, and I hear my dad say, they're not doing anything. I think you have to do something. So I slowly open my eyes and I look, and wouldn't you know, yes, it's telling me that there are buttons I have to push, so I start to push them, and I shut my eyes again, and then my mom's like, you're not done yet. I'm just like, what? And I look up, it's like, no, gotta keep going. And what made it even awkward is not only do I have to push the buttons, but I gotta push them in rhythm to the intimate movements they are making. So I got a couple that's completely naked on the bed. I gotta push the buttons within rhythm and push the right buttons as they get intimate, while my parents are in the living room watching as I do this. Yeah. Have any of you felt such awkwardness? Have any of you ever experienced this? Anyways, I don't know how much time really passed, but I was so embarrassed that it felt like an eternity for me. And after so long, I'm just like, does anyone want to take the controller out of my hands and do the rest of this for me while I just go hide? And they're like, well, we wouldn't even know what to do anyways. We've never played video games. You got this. What an odd thing for parents to say. I mean, it's one thing if they say I got this in any other video game situation, but to say it during that situation. And I think that last part they did on purpose, because my dad had this smile on his face as he's like watching the TV. I think he knew how I was feeling. He knew I wish I was anywhere else but there. And he was having a blast with it, which is kind of a relief. I kind of thought that they would be appalled by it, and maybe under normal circumstances, if I hadn't acted so awkward about it, they probably would have been. But they acted like they were just completely amused by my own reaction, and it caught me by surprise. So I kept going and going and going until finally it stops. The screen fades to black. The scene returns. They're both asleep in the bed, and Ethan is just slowly waking up. The awkwardness is over. Or at least it would have been if my mom didn't feel the need to say, well, judging from the looks of things, I'd say you did a pretty good job. Mothers, any of you that are listening, if you're mothers and you have a son and he's a gamer, never say those words, okay? Never say those words, especially when you're watching your son play a character who's making love to a woman on a video game. Just don't. No. Just no. No. Not at all. Don't do it. And that's the video for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. My name is Statton. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are not alone. And you all have yourselves a wonderful day.